Yesterday, I saw the second installment of the Five Nights at Freddy's film, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And it was cheesy. So when I first saw the first Five Nights at Freddy movie, I never played the games Five Nights at Freddy's. I knew what it was about because I knew people who played the game. I would watch my brother play it. So I knew enough to know what it was about. Basically, you are a security guard. You are a security guard trying to survive 5 nights of working at Freddy's Pizzeria while trying to stay alive with these animatronics. You're in a room. You're watching the cameras. At the same time, these animatronics are trying to get to where you are, and you have the doors. Problem is, you can't shut the doors at the same time. It has to be one or the other. And every time you shut the door, your battery life, drains, things like that. Like I said, I've never played the game. I never read the books. But I knew enough to know what it was about. If you wanted more deep dive, you played the game, you could read the books of the lore and so forth. The thing of it is, the lore, from what I heard, doesn't really make sense. And then depending on what arc you're facing with, you don't know. So I knew, like I said, I knew enough to know what the movie was about, even if you didn't know, even if you never played the games or possibly have ever heard of it, you knew what the movie was about. It was pretty straightforward. When I first saw the film, the first one, it was more of, how is this going to work? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of us were wondering, is this going to work? Because not many video game adaptations or movie adaptations of video games work. They don't do very well. There's a lot of shortcuts, and it's just not good. So I went in curious to know how they were going to do so. How were they going to put all these stories into one movie? Question is, how were they going to execute it? And what arc were they going to follow? Well, you learn about Mike's, you learn about Albert Nafri, I believe that's his name, who's known as the Spring Trap Rabbit, Yellow Rabbit, whatever. And then, it became a whole, I gotta find out what happened to my brother while taking care of my sister, Abby, and now the animatronics want Abby, things like that. Well, so this takes place in 2002. The second film takes place in 2002 because something that happened in 1982, which shows, how can I say? Something happened in 1982. I'm not going to spoil it for those of you who haven't seen it yet. And it takes place in 2002. I think it takes place because Abby is now 11. When we first met Abby, she may have been 7, maybe 8 years old. So maybe a total of 4 years have passed. So maybe 3 years have passed. Or 4 years have passed. So basically, it's a continuation. In the trailer, it made it seem like it was going to be rated R. And it turned more of a horror aspect. So I was like, okay, let's see what this is. It looks like this is not only a continuation, but it looks like, from what the trailer looked like, they were now out and about and possibly wreaking havoc on the town. That's from what the trailer is. I'm not going to spoil in the movie just in case you all haven't seen it. In my opinion, it was very, very cheesy, very predictable, and very fast-paced. It wasn't so in the first movie, it wasn't a build-up or anything. You kind of had a feeling where it was going to go, but it left you with that question, is it really not? This one was more, it was predictable. You knew how the direction was going to be. I had predicted that something was going to happen way before it ever was going to happen, and lo and behold, it did happen, which was kind of cool. but it was predictable, but it really, really goes to show what was really happening and how it was really working. So how can I say? In the first movie, it did take a supernatural effect, a supernatural kind of feel to it, which does in fact continue in the second one. That's all I'm going to say. Which obviously, it's obvious that's what's going on. But in my opinion, it was cheesy. It was too fast paced. It wasn't a slow build up. It was like pop, 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 pop. There really wasn't enough time. It just felt rushed. It felt rushed, and it just like, for me, there was a question where one of the characters, I won't say who it was, obviously knew what was going on and sort of just didn't stay put. In my opinion, if that character, well, of course, the character didn't have much place in the book from what I was told, but I feel like if that character knew what was happening, my question was, why didn't they help keep it contained or keep it there? That was my opinion. That was my question. But in my opinion, I have a right to opinion. It was cheesy. I get it. This is made towards kids. They're not gonna. Blumhouse has done movies that are rated R. Invisible Man. I believe Fantasy Island. I know they did Wolfman. Those they've done rated R films. They're no strangers to rated R films. Because Purge was rated. Yeah, Purge was rated R. Yeah, Truth or Dare was rated R. No, excuse me, PG-13. Yeah. Yeah, where we go. Yeah, so there we go. So the Black Phone. So there you go. You have the Black Phone. You have the Black Phone 2, which is one of one of Blum's rated R films. The Gallows. They mostly do. They mostly do. What was it? PG-13 films. So they've done a few of them. Trying to find, because Blumhouse is in charge of doing Five Nights at Freddy's, and I'm pretty sure they did the Purge. Okay. Gosh darn it. Blumhouse rated R movies. There we go. Because I know they did. Okay, there you go. I was right. So their horror movies was The Purge, Paranormal Activity, Most Entries, and Sinister. I know they did The Invisible Man. Right. So here, Insidious and Ouija. Okay. Upgrade. I know Upgrade. The Visit. Upgrade was rated R. The Visit was PG-13. The Invisible Man was rated R. The Black Phone was rated R. So yeah, so they do rated R films. It's just like PG-13 films seems to be working well. Like Megan, they were in charge of Megan and so forth. But like I said before, this movie, everyone has a right to their opinion. I watched it. I felt it was very cheesy. I get it. It's a children's form. It's a children's movie based on a game that children play. They're going more for the nostalgia. And yeah, they're going more for the nostalgia. I was telling someone, oh, it was cheesy, this or that, and they were like, the movies nowadays are more towards, people who have short attention spans. They no longer have the movies that we grew up with. And I said, it don't matter. It don't matter. It has to, movies have to, bring everyone in. And then I said, yeah, and nowadays trailers are almost like, and it's true, you're seeing majority of the movie in the trailer. You're not supposed to see that. The trailer is supposed to build up to what's going on, to make you guessing and to make you interested enough to go see the film. That's what The Grudge did. That's what I was like, okay, why is that house? What's going on? It was enough to show it was a horror film, but it was enough to show this is what's going on. I believe it was PG-13. Was it PG-13? No, it was rated R. Was it rated R? It was one of those PG-13s that looked like it could have been rated R. It gives you that feeling, but it really isn't. But yeah, it kept me guessing. And then the same thing with Silent Hill. Even though I never played the game, I did watch the movie, which I know a lot of people are like, no, blah, blah, blah. I never played the game. I only remember when I first played the game, I was 5 years old. We started, the PlayStation was given to us, was basically, hey, check this out. And it was PlayStation came out in 1995. We got our hands on it in 1999, so 4 years after its release. Right there and then, I played Silent Hill, like 5 minutes of it. I'm going through what's going on. I'm playing with the buttons. I'm like, where do I go? There's no direction. There's no nothing. This is stupid. I'm done. I was 5 years old, okay? Give me a break. I was 5. Give me a break. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's, it is what it is. I wasn't too keen on it. You guys go ahead and watch it, see what y'all think, but yeah, I wasn't too keen on it. It was alright. It was cheesy. A little too cheesy for me.